Namaskar. Let's continue with the topic of spiritual lessons. Those lessons are veritable treasures on the spiritual path. Those lessons need to be received individually, personally, from a teacher of meditation. The teacher of meditation becomes a conduit for the cosmic energy, for the Guru Shakti, for the power of the Guru. And when this transmission is done in this way, it is done through a qualified person, authorized person, then the lessons they become alive. If you just read in the book about these lessons, they don't have that potency. The potency is not there. There is only theory. But for the lessons to work, they have to be animated by the Guru Shakti. So we have discussed the lesson which is called Ishvara Pranidhana, ensconcement in the Supreme Consciousness, directing the mind from crude to subtle and enjoying the subtle realm of consciousness. Then I meditate, but then I need to go to work, I need to go to talk to people, and I deal with different kind of people, different kinds. Some people are good, some people are toxic, some people are creative, some people are anxious, some people are restless. And every time I enter into the communication with someone, I acquire a state of mind of that person. It affects me. So we find this contradiction that in meditation I try very hard to make my mind subtle, to bring it above the vibrations. It is a very hard job. And when I open my eyes and then I start to interact with the physical world, that job evaporates. The results of that job evaporate very quickly. I find myself again the same materialistic being. I'm not anymore spiritual being. So there has to be something to stop the mind from falling down. Also, when we live in the world, we act, and action has a reaction. That is the law of karma. Every action must have equal and opposite reaction. So when I act, I store the reaction in my mind. And before I fulfill, before I atone for all those reactions, I cannot expand my consciousness. That is the thing. So I burn, I leave, I exhaust the reactions of the past, the karma of the past. But while exhausting the karma of the past, I am creating a new samskaras, new karma. So I also must have something to protect myself from acquiring new samskaras. So the lesson which protects you from the new karma is called Madhuvidya or Brahmacarya. It's the second lesson in our system of practice. Brahmacarya is also one of the principles of Jama and Niyama. Brahma means absolute consciousness, and char is to move while eating. I am moving about, and at the same time I'm eating what? I'm eating Brahma. I'm eating the absolute consciousness. Right now, what am I doing? The sun is very strong, hitting my eyes. So I'm eating the sun and there are There is a grass around me. I am eating the grass. What is eating? Eating is when you eat something and it becomes a part of you. For example, if I eat tomato, that tomato will be digested. It will be broken into the carbohydrates and into the water and into the amino acids, if there are any, into the fats. Whatever I eat, it will be broken down into the building blocks. And those building blocks will be integrated into my body. Yesterday I was in a sauna and I found out that there is some fat is accumulating on my waist. I thought, wow, I didn't move for 1 month, I didn't tour, and now I'm becoming, my body is storing some fat. So that is eating. The banana that I have ingested has become part of my storage in the body. Similarly, there are ideas that I consume. I read the book, and that book has become part of my mental setup. I met a person, his energy, his atmosphere, his impact is a part of my mental setup now. I am you. You are sitting in me. I met you. I have eaten you. By my eyes, by my perception, you have become part of me. All the friends, they are part of me. All the teachers, they are part of me. All the enemies, they are part of me. All the books, they are part of me. All the movies, they are part of me. All the rivers, they are part of me. All the sky and the birds, they are part of me. And the trees, and the buildings, and the cities, and the countries, they are part of me. So, and I'm in a constant flow of change, acquiring new and new impressions in my mind. Those impressions change me bit by bit. So Brahmacarya means avoid that. And while moving, eat the absolute consciousness. I look at the tree and I meditate. The tree is, in fact, the Supreme Consciousness. In fact, if you look into there's a piece of bark I found. If you look there, you'll find the carbon atoms, hydrogen, carbons, oxygen, everything is there. And if you look deeper, you find atoms, you find the nucleus, nuclei, you find the electrons. And if you look deeper, you will find vibrations. And if you look deeper, you find space-time. And if you look deeper, there is consciousness. So that attempt to perceive everything as a sweet expression of consciousness, that is called Brahmacharya. People confuse Brahmacharya with abstinence from physical relationship. They think that it is a preservation of semen, abstaining from physical relationship. But it has nothing to do with that. Brahmacharya means to meditate while you are living. From every moment, there should not be a moment where you forget your source. And it is a training. When you start to do it, you tend to forget. But then you train yourself. There should not be 1 hour in a day where you do not remember the absolute consciousness. There should not be half an hour in a day where you do not remember the Supreme Consciousness. There should not be even 5 minutes in a day where you do not remember the Supreme Consciousness. There should not be any moment where you forget and you do not remember the Supreme Consciousness. If you have achieved that constant remembrance of the Supreme. At the same time, you have achieved perfection. At the same time, you have achieved all the celestial powers of the yogis. At the time, you have achieved the complete spiritual freedom. So that is the effort. That is the effort. Another way to describe it is Madhuvidya. Brahmacarya is one name. Another name is Madhuvidya. Madhu is the honey or sweetness, and Vidya is the knowledge. So sweet knowledge. Something may be bitter, but the knowledge is sweet. If I take a proper radiation, if I know that internally this bark, the bark of the tree, internally, it is a sweet cosmic consciousness. When I come in touch with that, I feel bliss. There was this very interesting incident. There was a demonstration by our guru. He said that he told one monk, you go and touch this center of the another monk. So he touched. Then he asked the monk who was touched, so did you feel any sweet feeling? He said that, no, I felt nothing. And then he turns to the first monk and he said, did you use the Madhuvidya? He said, no, I forgot. Okay, now use the Madhuvidya and touch him. Then he goes, ideate, then goes and touches. Did you feel any blissful feeling? He said, yes, I felt the blissful feeling. He said, you see, that is when you apply that ideation, it becomes, your emanation becomes sweet. Whatever you touch is sweet for you, and whatever you do is sweet for others. Idam manusham sarvisham bhutanam madvasya sarvishasya sarvani bhutani madhu. Ayamatma sarvisham bhutanam madvasya atmana sarvani bhutani madhu. This man is sweet to all beings. All beings are sweet to this man. This soul is sweet to all beings. All beings are sweet to this soul. So this is the inner spirit of this practice. What is the philosophy? Philosophy is that the fundamental basis of existence is Brahma. And Brahma exists in the two different states, Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means mutable, something which is undergoing change. And Akshara means immutable, something which cannot mutate, cannot be changed. So there is portion of the existence which is beyond thought, beyond imagination, absolutely blissful, never changing. And there is a portion of existence which is flowing in the constant evolution, in the revolution. It revolves in the cosmic cycle. The consciousness crudifies and obtains the form of matter. And the matter, the spark of consciousness, happens in the matter. And that spark gives birth to the microcosm. And the microcosm, first in a small of tiny protozoa and a tiny bacteria, tiny cell, it sparkles in the matter, and then it travels back through many lives, evolving, finally achieving the human form, and finally jumping back into the cosmic consciousness. So that revolution, that movement, that revolving of consciousness is happening in the Kshara Brahma. But fundamentally, these both are the same. Kshara and Akshara, they are the same. They are, it's just like a water. It is H2O. The water may become ice, may become vapor, but fundamentally it's the same thing. So, this second lesson is an attempt to discern the presence of the nature, of ever blissful nature of consciousness within every object and within myself also. So there are aspects of this practice of Brahmacarya and Madhuvidya together. It's second lesson of meditation. I would say there are three types of ideations there. One ideation is that is of Madhuvidya, is to feel sweetness. Actually, what does give us sweetness is only one thing. It's love. If there is love, there is sweetness. There is no other tendency of the mind that creates this sweetness. Sweetness is love and love is sweetness. So to achieve that sweetness, to achieve that Madhuvidya, you should know that whatever you do out of love. And love for what? There are two types of love. One is love for the shape. And that love will make you exhilarated and will make you suffer also. If you fall in love with a particular shape, you will be very high for some time, but then that shape will change because that is the nature of the changing world. And then when the shape will change, you will feel sadness, you will feel pain. So that is one form of love. And another form of love is the love for eternal. You feel that I am connected with the eternal source of all things. And whatever I do for that. For example, you're serving your mother, or you're serving your husband, or you're serving your wife. But if you think this is my wife, then so many things comes. Attachment comes. With attachment comes the desire to control, the fear of loss, and so many things. The anger, and so many things. So there is sweetness, but there is also suffering. But if you ideate that it is not my wife, it is the Supreme Consciousness itself has come to me in the form of my wife, and is making me obliged by allowing me the opportunity to serve. At that moment, that is 100% guaranteed. At that moment, you will feel intense, sweet feeling in your heart. I remember I was having a strong conflict, with strong disagreement with some person, really, for many days. At one point came, I could not control my anger. I took one plate in my hands and I just, bah! I felt a little bit better. Then I thought, no, this is not enough. I took another plate. Bah! Oh, now it's good. But that was a temporary relief. It doesn't solve anything. I felt very painful. I felt very puzzled and confused. How to continue? How to go on? This person gives me so much suffering. And then in the book, I read one verse. That verse made a revolution in my mind. Bhaktir Bhagavato Seva Bhaktir Prema Svarupini, Bhaktir Ananda Rupacha, Bhaktir Bhaktasya Jivanam. Bhakti, divine love, is service to God. Bhakti is the form of pure love. Bhakti is also bliss and the very life of the devotee, of the bhakta. Then I thought, I don't know, I may be devotee or not, I don't know. Maybe I'm very materialistic man, but it makes sense. And I thought that, okay, I will do now everything in the spirit of service to God. So whatever I do, I clean the house, I cook the food, I build something, I construct something, I ideate it. I will stand for 1 minute, not 1 minute, but maybe for 20 seconds like this. I will close my eyes and I would get this feeling that, oh Supreme Entity, I feel you near me. I love you. I will do it for you. So when you do it, it's interesting. You can try. You can try just even immediately. You just now, you can close your eyes and can just feel, oh Supreme Consciousness, I'm watching this video for you. For you. And I will feel now, I'm recording this video for you. It comes. It comes. The feeling of love, the feeling of sweetness. So, you can have that feeling of sweetness 24 hours a day. You just have to remember it. You just have to remember it. That's why in the beginning of practice, what we do, we put different signs everywhere. The dot or M letter that I need to repeat mantra. I need to take the ideation. So when I come to the kitchen, okay, now I will cook for the Supreme Consciousness. And an amazing thing is that when you cook for the Supreme Consciousness with love, the food is exquisitely beautiful. One of the best food of my life was served to me by who? By my Acharya, by my Dada. I came from the university and I was very hungry. Then he said, are you hungry? I said, no, I'm not hungry. He said, what? You are a student, you're supposed to be hungry. Go meditate, I will cook for you. That was something out of my mind. I thought, how is it possible? This spiritual teacher, this really, the man I adore, how is it possible that I'm nobody? He is going to cook for me, he is going to spend the time on me. I said, no, Dada, please don't. He said, no, just go meditate. So I went, I sat for 30 minutes. What he did, he boiled some potatoes with the skin. Very simple, no complicated cooking. But when I ate those potatoes, I felt this is the most tasty food in my life. Really, till now. Till now, I think that was the best meal of my life. Because he did it with the love. He did with ideation. And when I ate, I felt it. I felt it's almost like a transcendental experience. That I'm not eating the potato, but I'm eating the divinity. That is such a powerful thing. Such a beautiful thing. With the power of love, you can transform the environment. Everything can be transformed. So that is one. And then, more importantly, you will feel bliss. As you do things, you just feel it in your heart, in the deep core of your heart. You feel this sweetness, and you feel that I'm living not for nothing. This very blissful feeling of love is my reward. I need nothing. That is called Raganuga Bhakti in Sanskrit. When you feel that, when we do things because if I do this, I will get something. Or if I do this, I will not get something. We always try to avoid or gain something. In that way, we are creating the samskaras. But when you feel this love is your reward. You don't need anything else. That's called Raganuga Bhakti. No samskara is created. Karma phala tyak. Letting go of the results of your actions. You're not doing things for the result. Of course, you're doing as good as possible. But you're doing for love. To feel that love. That is one. Is a revolutionary. Is a revolutionary approach. It's not normal. It's not common. Like Mother Teresa used to say. She said that it doesn't matter the magnitude of your action. What matters is the feeling you invest in that action. Even the small action. Oh, I remember now the story. Even the small action, but done with love, is significant. I tell you the story. Actually, I never told this story, I think, in YouTube. But this is a beautiful story that happened to me. I was meditating. And I was meditating more and more and more. And I started to go into the spiritual state. I started to get different special effects in meditation, such as seeing light, and I was feeling myself in the ocean of light, especially here, Anahata chakra. I felt like here there is an ocean of light, divine light, beautiful. So, and it was love. And then I was, making sounds, I was crying and all these kind of things for 1 hour or more like this. And then when it is over and I'm back to normalcy, I'm seeing normally, there is no light, everything is stable, not moving. And then I just sit there there is a picture of my guru, and I'm intuitively feeling that this entity opened world for me. I've seen something that a mortal should not see. I love him. I want to give him something. And there is a mixture. There is, in that state, there is no, you cannot separate the guru and God. You cannot separate the Supreme Consciousness and Guru. You understand that this is the same thing, just flowing through the mortal shape. The man physically is a human, but actually it is cosmic. He is cosmic. Like my friend, he said, if we would be a little bit more intuitionally developed, every time we would see the picture of the Guru, we would prostrate before him. And I say, yes, I agree. So in that state, in that spiritual state, I could perceive that connection between the macrocosm and the Guru, and I felt, it is a mix. I just felt so much gratitude towards Guru. I felt so much gratitude towards God, because he showed me himself. I am a mortal being. I'm nothing. But, you appreciate what is the human brain. Is what this 1 kilo of fat, that's all. But I could touch that. How big is that? So I felt immense gratitude. So then I thought, what I can give him back? I want to give something back. I must give something back. And then it is a little bit like a crazy man, like a madman in that state. I thought, I will give him 5 beautiful roses. So I took the bicycle and I went. You're a little bit drunk in that state. It's very dangerous. You should not go out in the street. But I wanted so badly to give these roses. So I went maybe 30 minutes to the market and back. So I came back Again I prostrate, and these 5 roses, with extreme intense love, I give to him, I offer. But you know what a beautiful thing was? It's a simple. But you know, I felt, at that moment I felt, he has accepted. He has accepted my love. And that moment I felt, I have never done anything more significant. Until now I feel, I've never done so far anything more significant than that evening. Because that moment, there was a powerful, sincere love. So love is something that turns the stone into the gold and water into the milk. Every action that you do with love, that action will become pure gold. It doesn't matter the magnitude of the action. What matters is the feeling you invest in it. That is what matters. And that is the first aspect of the Madhuvidya, to do things with love, towards the Supreme. Just feel that there is a special mantra. I cannot tell here. You have to get it from the Acharya, an Acharya, in the process of personal instruction. But the idea is that you repeat the mantra and you feel that Supreme Consciousness is very close to you, and you're doing it for the God. You do it for God, for the Supreme. The second part of this Madhuvidya, or Brahmacarya rather, no, Madhuvidya Brahmacarya, is to renounce the vanity of performer. I am doing the action. It is the vulnerability for the karma yogi. The man of action. He liberates himself through the action. The action liberates you. Karma, Brahmeti, karma bahugurvita. The action is God. Do as many actions as possible. But when you do action, you become vulnerable to the ego. Ego feels, I am doing the job and I'm great. And that greatness is actually meagerness. Because you are not anymore cosmic. You have separated yourself from the cosmic consciousness. And you have become secluded by your feeling of vanity. You are not anymore feeling a part of the cosmic flow. That it is not you, that you are not separated, but you are united with the cosmic consciousness. You are not feeling that because of the vanity. So renouncing the vanity of action, that I am doing the action, is the second part. You need to feel that now in me there is God. What is God? He is joy. It is joy. It is peace. It is harmony and wisdom and intuition. So that drop of love in me, that drop of light in me, now wants to be expressed. It wants to overwhelm me and spill over to the world. It's not me. I am just carrying it. I am the vessel, and God is there. I am carrying the God in me, in my body, in my mind, and through my hands, through my legs, through my speech. He wants to be spilled out. He wants to be expressed to the world through my actions. I am not limiting him. I'm letting him express himself. I don't seek to control him. I seek to be controlled by him. I'm not trying to control the inspiration. I want to be controlled by inspiration. Let the inspiration take me. I never know what I'm going to speak. I just know that I am one with him. He is expressing through me. That is the feeling. And trust. He is in me. He is within me. And he is there. I just trust him. He will do the good job. One my friend, she just learned this idea. And then she was studying arts, and she needed to do the, just like, not the diploma, but some project. And that was a sculpture. And then she was very much delayed. And then she came home and she started to repeat Baba Nam Kevalam mantra. And just start to feel that the flow is in her. And she started to, not thinking. She's not thinking. She's just working and repeating the Baba Nam Kevalam mantra and shaping that sculpture and shaping it. Within 2 hours she made a beautiful sculpture. So she brought to her teacher and said, "Oh wow, beautiful work. How long did you work on it?" She said, "It was 2 hours." She said, "No, 2 hours not possible. You must work several days on it." And she came very impressed. She said, "Dada, this is what happened." I said, "Yes, this is the point. When you try to control it, you have so many prejudices. How it should be done, how it should not be done. You sit in the walls of prejudice. You sit in the walls of ideas and limitations. But if you allow yourself to go in a journey with the Supreme Consciousness, all those walls, they have no meaning. They fall. Of course, the best is when you have the skill plus the inspiration. So the inspiration will flow through the skill. But if there is no skill, but inspiration will still flow. And it still be beautiful. So that is the important part. To feel that I am not doing, but He is doing through me. It is said, I remember I was crying when I read this Sanskrit verse. It says that if He wishes, the lame will cross the mountain and the mute will become an eloquent speaker. If there is a bit of cosmic grace, everything is possible. There is this song, it says, Ishwa tomar lilaya bhinai noi hobi hoi hoi hobi noi Britai kada Britai anunai Rasha bhashir shaji lilai bubo nache. This universe is your divine play. In it, that which is possible becomes impossible, and that which is impossible becomes possible. No need to cry, no need to ask for something in the flow of beauteous forms. So, no need to cry, no need to ask for something, but need to remain in the flow. That flow is intelligent. That flow is wise. That flow is trustworthy. If we entrust ourselves into that flow of the universe, which is divine consciousness, that flow will do everything nicely, beautifully. But if we interfere, it will spoil the cosmic design. So the spiritual seeker is to learn surrender. When you submit to the cosmic will, you feel and you trust it. You trust it. Many times, actually, it is my Dada, my meditation teacher. I love him very much, and he criticized certain style of presentation. He said, "Look, he is preparing for his lecture for 1 week. What are you listening to him?" I said, "Oh, it's very interesting." He said, "No, this is not correct. Should not do like this." And then, when I met him, he asked me very suspiciously, "Perhaps you are also preparing for your lectures?" I said, "No, Dada. When I speak from my heart." He said, "Oh, I'm happy you got that." And he is a poet. He's also in this one video I managed to record with him, Dada Muktatmananda. He writes poetry every day. And he let his heart flow. It's beautiful. It's original. It's nothing to do with intellect. Intellect is a servant of the intuition. So that we develop through the practice of the second lesson. You repeat the mantra. You feel him. You feel, I don't know, him, her, it, whatever it is. You feel the divinity. And then let it cook, let it speak, let it carve, let it build, let it construct. And there is another portion of this Brahmacarya. It is actually eating the Brahma. I look at the grass. What do I touch? I touch the Supreme Consciousness. I believe that everything around me, I believe that verily, truly, everything around me, it may appear differently, but truly, actually, it is the Supreme Consciousness itself. I look at the tree and I see that the divinity smiles from there at me. I look in his eyes and I believe, I see that divinity touch me. He looks right from his eyes into my soul. And when I meet people and I look around, I meditate that I am touching different expressions, different forms of the Supreme. And never I am touching water, never I am touching food, never I am touching grass or earth or bricks or anything like that. I am constantly in touch with the Divine Supreme Entity. That is the, of course, I'm not talking about me. I'm trying to do that. It is a practice, the whole lifelong practice. But that's the idea, that's the ideal, how we should be accustomed to. And that is a beautiful life. That is the life full of bliss, and doesn't matter the environment. You may be in a harsh environment, still you feel love. Some, I don't know how it happens, but particularly blissful moments I experienced. Just I remember, I'm sitting in a train, we are passing some station, and I repeat mantra, and I just feel so blissful. I just feel so right. I am so proper. I'm in the proper place. Even the mosquitoes, they feel so right. Everything is right. Everything is a part of the harmony. And that harmony is bigger than me. That harmony is nothing to do with the pleasure of pain of this body. But when you grasp this limitless cosmic design, then you feel that bigger bliss, that you feel that which is transcendent to your body and mind, beyond your body and mind. And your body and mind just a small, tiny speckle, tiny particle in that cosmic design. So that kind of practice, first of all, it prevents the accumulation of samskara. You can live free. Whatever you do will not bound you, will not bind you with the consequences of the actions. And at the same time, you will live truly happy, truly happy. So in the first lesson, we learn to see the squirrel. You know, the squirrel, you look in the book and the mother tells you, this is a squirrel. Ah, it is a squirrel. You know that is the squirrel. So when you go to the park or to the forest and, oh, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel is there. So in the first lesson, you learn to see the squirrel. You learn to see the divinity within your eye feeling. You make yourself motionless. You make yourself totally absorbed in concentration. And you go higher and higher and higher till you touch that taste of divinity. And then in the second lesson, you go to the park to see the squirrel. Not only in yourself, but everywhere. Ah, the squirrel is there. The Supreme is there in him. In that tree, in the sky. Some senior, the early disciples of the path, they were like Guru would initiate them, and for many days they would look in the trees, and in every leaf they would see the complete divinity. They could not function in the world because too much bliss, too much feeling of that love. So that is the beautiful treasures of a spiritual aspirant to practice. And it is also part of pratyahara. It's like we are tempted to perceive the form, the shape. It's a natural tendency of the mind, extraversial tendency. I see the grass, yes, I see it. So it is a natural thing. So when I see the form, I get attached to the form, I get repulsed from the form, I get attracted to the form. And in this case, the pratyahara yoga, or the withdrawal from the form to the essence, you withdraw from the form is not significant. What I see, the essence, is significant. Whether I am serving the dog, or I am serving my wife or my son, or I serve a stranger, is not significant. Because I am not serving any of those forms, I am serving the divinity which has come to me through those forms. And that is a form of pratyahara also. The pratyahara means withdrawal of the senses from the form. Also, this lesson includes two more practices. There is one practice which is called Varnargyadan. I am going to record one separate video on that, another name also Guru Puja. That practice is when you let go of the colors of your mind. Anyway, I will not tell more, I will tell later in different video. And then also there is after the bath, there is a certain practice which is called Pitrijagya, or the offering to the ancestors. And in that practice also there is a repetition of the cosmic ideations when you discover that the absolute consciousness, the Brahma, is actually everywhere. So I hope if you're already practicing the second lesson, you got inspired to practice it more strongly. If you are not, I hope that one day you can get it and be the most happy being in the universe. Thank you very much. I would be happy to read what you think about what has been said, and yeah, don't forget to spread the ideas by sharing, by liking, by commenting, and so on. Yes, thank you. And just now, wait. Before you switch off this video, you come to your worldly activities, you in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, you feel that you are living for the Supreme. Whatever you do, you offer to the Supreme. Feel that inner love towards Him. Just take a moment and feel it. And then after 10 minutes, take a moment and feel it. And then take a moment and feel it. Namaskar.